Guys, I wasn't expecting anything from this stage, and you bring home a podium place? Well done to you all. We take the green jersey. It's a good day.
Hello there folks, it is TIJ Gaming and welcome back to the Tour de France 2020 Pro Team Career Mode. Today it is time for the final stage, stage 3 of La Route Corse. But before we get into it, as with all of my Tour de France content, let's take a quick look at the previous stage. Now there were 4 guys in the breakaway: Rolands, Bierge, Slagter and Neilands, and those were the 4 guys who successfully managed the breakaway and won the stage. Rolands finishing first, us getting our first ever podium with Bierge in second. That's absolutely fantastic news. And even better, the rest of our guys, Dibben, Williams, Quintana, Swift and Holmes, all in the peloton at the end of the race. It was a bunched finish with everybody finishing pretty much in the same second. But best climber classification for the race, Bierge managed to pick up 6 points. Points classification, we now actually lead that with Bierge because we got points in both the first and second sprint. Young rider classification, Bierge led in this stage on that. Team classification, we ended up in third, and compatibility, of course, we were in there as well. So the classification as a whole is only really Quintana who's got a chance of winning the La Route Corse, because the rest of the guys finished quite a way behind in the first stage. And with it being such a short tour, obviously that first stage is going to matter significantly. So there is realistically maybe sort of 37 guys that can still win this La Route Corse, because I mean it's a big stage this, that there's quite a few mountain passes and quite a few climbs, but realistically the likes of Feline, Demarchi and those guys below aren't going to make 60 seconds up on 37 guys. Not all of them are going to make a big mistake, you wouldn't think. Best climber classification though, Quintana and Bierge have both got a chance of winning that classification. Quintana particularly only being 1 point behind Slagter. In the points classification, Bierge leads that one. So probably looking at getting Bierge and Quintana both in the breakaway at the third stage, depending on what the sports director advises. Young rider classification, I mean our 2 guys are quite a way back there, so no chance in that classification. We can definitely say we're not in contention for the white jersey. Team classification, though, we're in 21st at the moment. Probably looking to improve that a little bit. 18th is my target. I think 22nd is the team target, but 18th is my target. Might be tough, but we'll have to see how we get on. And compatibility, Bierge is in 4th. So pro cycling ranking then. Bierge is in 4th place, courtesy of finishing second in the last stage. And also in the team rankings, because Bierge picked up that 15 points, we have got 23 points. I don't think many teams have clearly got... I don't think anybody's got 2 riders in the top 10. That is why we lead that ranking at the moment. But expect that to change after stage number 3. Because we took a leader's jersey and we were part of today's breakaway, we've recovered quite well, which is good news. And today it is time for the final stage of La Route Corse.
It's the final stage, guys. Today's route is hilly and a leg breaker. Perfect for attacking, which should suit the punchers. We'll have to keep awake for the points classification. There are enough points at stake for us to lose first place. Be on your guard. The team members of the favourites will probably manage the time gaps in order to fight for victory on the final climb. It will be difficult for us to influence the outcome. Good race to you all.
Hello and welcome to all. With classified climbs lying at regular intervals along the route, today's roads will offer little comfort to the riders.
Here we go then for the final stage of this year's La Route Corse. As you can see, there are a lot of climbs. 7 climbs. Quite incredible, really. We have been instructed to get Holmes in today's breakaway. Not exactly sure why him, but we are going to follow him with Quintana. Bierge we're going to keep in the peloton today, just to give him a bit of a break. And plus the fact I don't think, well, if there's anybody who's risky for the points classification in a breakaway, we'll get Bierge in there, but... we'll see. We'll see how we get on. So there's a few guys gone in the breakaway. We have told Holmes to join us, so hopefully he will. Come on, Holmes. Get him to attack. I don't know whether this breakaway will particularly work, but it's put important Quintana's in there because, of course, he's going for the mountains classification. And it'll be interesting to see if there's anybody else who's big for that classification who gets inside this breakaway. So Quintana, none of the 7, interestingly, are actually... pivotal for the mountains classification. I don't know why Holmes isn't listening. Told him to attack and he's not, so we're going to have to get him to attack.
Okay, I'll put in a big acceleration.
Better control him ourselves, in my opinion. But it's quite a large breakaway, which makes me worry that maybe it might not work. But that lead group of 7 has got a decent gap. We just need to get out of the peloton's reaches, so to speak. And we're going on that group in front. It's alright, we can get that energy back once we're in the group. But it's important to catch up. So just a 10-second gap now. And, I mean, just 5 kilometres away from the first climb. So, we'll get back on board with Quintana. And, yeah, we'll try and go for this first mountain pass. So, nobody in the group, at least I don't think, who's involved in that mountains classification. That's very interesting to see. So, I mean, there are only 2 points available on these first 2 climbs. That's possibly why people maybe aren't going for it so much. Maybe. You never know. But if we win or lose the climbing classification by a point, 2 points, then if we win it, we can attribute it to the effort we've made here. But it seems to be a fairly short climb, I would guess. I mean, the peloton is quite close behind. They have definitely gained some time. Understandable that not really going to let us get away. I'm going to put a bit of pace in here with Quintana, just try and catch that top 2.
The first ascent of the day already confronts the riders.
Important not to use all of our red energy. There are a lot of climbs today, and this isn't the most important one. I have a feeling the peloton's not really going to let us get away, though, here.
King of the mountain sprint in 2 kilometers for the breakaway group.
Well, it's interesting. The peloton has caught back up. Fascinating. Oh, maybe not. The peloton. Oh, it might be because the peloton's spaced out. So I'd take that with a bit of a pinch of salt, really. Don't think we're going to have the pace, really, to get to the top of this climb, unfortunately, at the top.
The peloton is riding hard. Stay well placed.
We'll give it our all, but I think the Koi is a little bit too far ahead unless he's going to blow up before the top. Let's just go for it. Nah, we're going to struggle now. Yeah, we're not going to get there. Shame. But, I mean, at least it's somebody who's not competitive for the mountains classification that's up there. I mean, I say that they're not competitive, but you have got to bear in mind that it's a very short tour, so, you know, there's 10 points to the leader, so it's quite conceivable that somebody could come from quite low down, having no points, to winning this thing. There are more than 10 points available today, and we've unfortunately lost that first point, but all looking okay at the moment, all in this leading group, funnily enough. But again, I'd take that with a bit of a pinch of salt, because there's a long time to go in this stage, so I'll see you guys when we get to the next climb. Well, this is interesting. As we come to the next climb, breakaway is bound to be broken here. The peloton riding very hard, and as you can see, just decreasing the gap really to those guys in this next group. But it's important to keep all of our energy. Again, it's going to be particularly on these climbs, and there's only a point available for the top guy.
Acceleration. He must have been instructed to go for the polka dot jersey.
Well, Ineos rider's going for it. Don't blame him.
Watch out for counter moves. Attack. Watch out. He's aiming for the polka dot jersey.
Few attacks here, interestingly. Just going to try and keep up with these guys. Important not to use all your red gel, but again, you know, you've got to keep a decent distance, so... Is there anybody in here who scored any points to that mountains classification just yet? No, they haven't, so it would be good to take a point here. Just haven't quite got that turn of pace. And ultimately, we've got bigger climbs than this to worry about. It's tricky to get a point here. Give it our all, obviously. Just a little bit too far behind, as you can see. We're 6 seconds back, so it's going to be tricky to get that gap. But, I mean, it levels out a little bit, I guess. This does, so we'll attack. But, as you can see, we're just too far back at this point, unfortunately. So, no points for us. But, I mean, admittedly, you know, the points are being split at the moment. So, that helps us out. That nobody's gained any points, really. But, interesting there's been a split again. Quintana in this little breakaway. But I think it's going to be a stage where breakaways are going to gain time and then lose time. I don't think there's going to be a severe breakaway. But a third-class climb coming up. So, we're going to recover some energy coming down this very quick descent. And then try and battle with those guys as we come back up. Because, you know, a point or two, particularly because it's such a short tour, a point or two could really mean a lot. This is our disadvantage, really, to be honest, when it comes to being in a lesser team with lesser riders, that there are riders that are better than us, and we've just got to soak that up, unfortunately. As you can see, we're 15 seconds back from the leaders, and we just don't want to blow up. We don't want to be silly about this. So these guys, it seems, are going to gain a little bit of time. But who was it? I think it was the Astana rider, Adam Buru, who took the point last time out. Remember, there's points available for the top 2 here. Try and use a little bit less of our red energy. When is the feed? So we've got 2 climbs to go before we get another feed. So I don't particularly want to use any of our blue gel, although we're being forced to here. Yeah, we're being forced to use that gel. Wasn't the biggest of descents before.
I think you can take a breather. He's got his team riding to reel in the counterattack.
Interesting. I think this one might be worth not going for because we are a bit too far back. We'll obviously put in some good pace, but there's no point attacking, I don't think, for this one because we're not going to make up 20 odd seconds. But we have gone away from the peloton a little bit. We've got a minute's gap. The leaders have got a 1 minute and 24 second gap. But just no point going for this aggressively, to be honest, unless there's a real opportunity that we can see. Interested to see an Ineos rider up here. I think those 2 at the front are pretty safe to get some points. Although, to be fair, we are gaining on them, but a little bit too little too late, really. But luckily, it's the other guy who takes the big points. So they've actually got 2 points each now because, of course, the Astana rider, the Astana rider got a point beforehand. So obviously they get 2 points each. So happy with that. No real issue. Tough stage this. We're just going to have to control things with Quintana. And the rest of our guys are in the peloton at the moment. So I'm quite happy to see that. Yeah, just keep to what we're doing. No problem with that. And I'll see you guys at the next climb. Although we're going to have to manage our pace because, as you can see, it's not a clear descent until, well, funnily enough, the next part is actually tougher than this. As you can see, there's more of an ascent to come. So we will gain some energy back, but we're very low on blue energy. So we just need to conserve that a little bit now. So after that break, it is time for another climb. 5 of us now in this group.
Seems interested in a stage win. That must be why his teammates are riding hard.
There's 5 in this group, and obviously it's a second class climb. So points available, I think, if I'm right, for the first 4. 5, 3, 2 and 1 available. We need to increase our pace a bit, really, to get on the back of this group. That's it. Follow Vakoi. Tough climb, though, as you can see. We are losing energy a little bit, so we'll have to take a little bit of our feed. Remember, there's another climb after this. Just one more before the feed. Just tricky to manage that energy. Follow Vakoi. 2.5 kilometres to go. As you can see, this is where it starts to get a little bit tougher now. And I think that's where we'll see everybody's intentions, whether they want to go for this classification or whether they're looking more to the points classification. But we're certainly going for this classification. 5 points could be big here. Really could be. There's 2 big climbs after this. After these 2 second class climbs. I think 15 points available. But if we can get 10 here, then it rules most people out of having a chance. Ultimately, obviously only 15 points available after that. We've already got 10, or is it 9? I think it's 9, isn't it? Yeah, we've got 9. So just taking it nice and easy. Interesting no one's made an attack. Maybe nobody's got the energy to, perhaps. I don't know.
Watch out for him. He's the best puncher in the breakaway.
So Amador is the best puncher, apparently. We'll hope to do something about that. But we've got some good energy left. Obviously, because we have, I would expect the other riders to as well. But it's a good gap to the peloton. Unfortunately, Basker has dropped back. Shame for him. But apart from that, everybody else is still there. Alright, let's go off following now. Put a bit more pace in. What a racket from some of these guys. Deary me. Just got to wait till they pounce. It's not like being with Kvatkowski anymore with the amount of energy he used to give us. No one going just yet. Just need to make sure we're finishing the top 4 really here. Right, let's go. Come on, Quintana. Maybe going a little bit early here. Come on. Amador's got first. We get second. I'll take that. I'll take that. because Amador hasn't got any points yet in the climbing classification. So I think that takes the Astana rider up to 4. The TDE rider, Taramay up to 3. We're up to 12, and the Ineos rider is up to 5. So more than happy with that. Great stuff, really happy with that. So got another descent. It seems Verkoy's dropped back, probably blown up before the top of the climb, I would expect. Where is he? A little while back, we can't see him. We've got a nice descent now before the final climb, before we get a feed. And remember, you know, we are potentially in the race for the sprint. I don't quite think we are, because I think there's only 20 points available at this sprint. So we won't be in it, but I think that if Bierge can finish well, potentially he might win that classification. So we're going to have to keep an eye on him when it comes to the sprint. The most important thing first, though, is having a good climb here, because this will be our last opportunity, I would say. I think the leader's probably going to catch up before those last 2 climbs. So here we go then for another climb. As I said, just really our last chance to get some solid points, I would say. The leaders will probably catch up before the next climb, but if we can pocket, we're on 12, aren't we, at the moment? If we can get another 3 points here, it means that anybody who hasn't scored points yet is effectively out of it. Unless they can get every single point, obviously. Bit more energy than we had last time, of course. And, of course, we can pretty much use our entire feed here, and I think we will. Not quite the time to do it yet. Maybe we're 2 kilometres to go. Tucking behind Aaron Baru. As you can see, Verkoy has really dropped off now. 1.5 minutes behind. I'm not liking this. This is a little bit awkward. I don't think we've quite got the pace here. But we don't want to put ourselves fighting a losing battle, ultimately. Got that little bit of blue gel, but I want to use that when necessary. When at the best time. Probably with about 2Ks to go.
You still have 2 kilometers before you reach the summit.
Use all of our red gel as well.
King of the mountain sprint in 2 kilometers for the breakaway group.
I'm not liking this. They're a little bit too far in front. That blue energy is starting to deplete. So we're going to have to manage our pace here. A little bit too far back potentially now. Might have to start going for it here. Don't think Aaron Baru's particularly interested. We know we're going to get at least 1 point here. That's the 1+ side. Top 2 are going for it. I don't think we're going to get above 3rd, to be honest. Nah, top 2 are there. So Amador picks up another 5 points. He moves up onto 10. We move up onto 14. I think the other guys are on about 7 or 6. So not really much to worry about. It's the Ineos rider we worry about. But we have the lead of the polka dot jersey for the moment. So we've got the sprint coming up. As I've said before, we'll get everybody to consume their feed, actually, before they get to the top. But as I've said before, it's really Bierge who we're interested in for the points classification. Obviously, we'll go with it with Quintana. There's a little bit of a gap back to those guys, so we can afford to go with it. Go for it with both. Well, surprisingly, we've just lost pace, to be honest. Amador and Taramay are there, but ultimately, unfortunately, we're not. Quintana and the other guy, his name escapes me, have unfortunately come out of that, but we're just trying to get well placed with Bierge. Of course, it's the last sprint. I believe it's the last chance to win points, unless you can win them at the end of the stage. Not exactly sure. Need to get well placed here. Don't know where everyone is around us, but it's not worth the risk of doing anything stupid. Just in the hope that nobody else will be there. Right, that's well placed. I'm happy with that. Very well placed. So Amador and Taramay are going to win the sprint, but they've got no points, so I don't think there's any chance of them winning it. I think there might be some points available at the end of the stage. I'm pretty sure there is, actually, but nevertheless, important to get some points here. Have to see who gets points here and whether they're competitive for the overall standings. Let's go. Come on, Bierge. Not quite in that front group, but we'll take this. We'll definitely take this if we can finish 6th. Can we get there? Yes, we can. We pocket 10 points. Great stuff. Don't know if any of our guys are fortunate enough to be in that group. To be the top guys.
He's the new leader of the overall youth standings.
Bodnar, Rue, Demarshy, Similai, and no. So none of our other guys get any points, but I'm happy with that. More than happy with that, in fact. So Bierge picks up 10 more points for the points classification. And yeah, we're looking good. I think there are some points at the end of the stage, though, so watch out for that. But 2 big climbs, so really we're just looking to finish well as a team now with 50 kilometres to go. So we're currently just telling our guys just to follow and not overtire themselves. As you can see, we've got a full feed left and decent energy levels. Quintana concerns me a little bit with that lower level of energy. But as you can see, there is no breakaway now. So coming up to the first class climb. This is where things can get really tricky. We will now tell our guys to persist without limit. Don't want to be caught out particularly.
Understood. I'll take it easy, whatever happens.
So as you can see, quite a few guys falling away. We'll just try and assess if anybody important for any classifications in there. Doesn't look like it, does it? No. McClay. No. Nobody really, so no big shocks just yet. But this is a tough climb. And of course, we've got all of our feed left. And this is Quintana's chance, potentially. I mean, somebody's already blown up. Poor them. Such a long way to go to the top of the climb. I think we'll get somebody to protect him. We'll get Dibben to protect Quintana. I think a few guys are going to start to drop back now. I can take Bean here, though. About 60th. I don't know how there's Dibben. Right. Move out. Oh, for goodness sake. Right. Let's get him behind him. If we can. There we go. That's it. Lovely. Oh, Rolance has been dropped. Oh, that's interesting. Rolance, of course, going for that points classification. Alright, roger that. I think he's the only guy, Quintana, that we're at real risk with. But the problem is if we follow Dibben, it's just too much of a pace for us at the moment. So I might consume some of our blue gel. Consume about half of that. Right, we'll get Dibben off our back, because it's not really helping us too much, to be honest. So Dibben's going for it a little bit now. It's just a question of whether Quintana's maybe has got enough points earlier on in the stage. I said that the top guys would be coming for us. But I'll see guys with about 4 or 5 kilometres to go in this climb. Because it is a long one, this. Well, unfortunately, we've lost a little bit of time with Quintana. Can't do too much about that now. It was inevitable, really, with him showing so well at the start of the race. So we're going to go for this with our next best place guy. Looking at the top guys in the classification. You can see Slagter's in the 5th group. Rowland's in the 13th group. So it's all whether anybody in the peloton puts up a good performance. Particularly that Ineos rider who was doing well before. But we'll try it with Bierge. Just a shame for Quintana really because of the general classification and possibly being up there. But he's not lost all sort of ground yet. In fact, he's actually managed to get back into the peloton, which is great news. Not much energy left though, which concerns me. Just tell him to go at tempo 60%, because I believe that tempo means that you're at the blue line, if you like. It will tell all of our guys to do that, actually. Just so they're not overdoing it.
I'll take it easy on the relay.
So 3 kilometres to go. We're well placed with Bierge. I'm happy with that. And as you can see, the polka dot jersey rider, I think that is Slagter. He is dropping back considerably now. So it's all about whether anybody in this group can have 2 good climbs. Because ultimately none of them have scored any points yet. But 2 good climbs, 15 points. Remember, we're on 12. Or is it 14? 12 or 14? I think it is 14. We picked up 5 points today, haven't we? So if somebody can take the maximum from both, then they've got a chance. But with Bierge, we're just trying to keep up there. Potentially if we can get 8 points from 5th. I doubt we can, but I guess you just never know. Just a risk consuming a lot of our feed here, but there's not a lot we can do about it. Everybody else pretty much in check, but Quintana, Dibb and Williams starting to struggle a little bit now. I'm going to tell them to maybe not... This is the problem, you can't tell them to consume a percentage of their blue gel. I mean, why is Williams this far up?
The peloton is 2 kilometers from the top of the
I don't
line.
quite get that. Strange. Same for Dibben. Quintana. I mean, Quintana's already consumed it, so I think we've got a bit of a problem with him. Holmes and Swift as well. Oh, it's this stupid glitch again where... Oh, no, there we go. We're okay. And Swift. Obviously, Quintana's used. I don't know why we're so well placed here. Seems baffling to me.
We'll have to do our utmost to...
Right, and let's ride with Bierge.
4 points if we don't want to fall behind on the climber standings.
Truth be told is, if we're struggling, a lot of other teams will be. I don't know why Holmes is going for it so much. We're just going to tell them to persist without... Maybe persist smoothly, perhaps, for some of our guys. With Quintana, you know, maybe follow, don't overtire for him. That's a good idea. Anybody else starting to struggle? I think everybody else is okay at the moment. But for Quintana, just follow and don't overtire here.
Okay, if the pace is too fast, I won't insist.
But quite a few guys falling back, interestingly, now.
A teammate has just been dropped.
Quintana's been dropped. We will tell him to persist without limit. But no surprise that he's been dropped really here. Remember, we've got another climb to go after this. But if we just keep nice and cool. Is that one of our guys at the top? It might well be, you know. I think it is. Well, this is a potential chance. Nobody really going for it here. Hang on a minute. Who is it? Who is it? I want to know who it is. I think it's... Well, Holmes has got a bit of energy in the locker. No, it's not him. Swift's in 22nd. It's definitely, I'm sure it's definitely one of our riders at the top. Maybe not. Maybe not. Can't be. No. All fairly well placed there, you have to say. We'll still go with it with Holmes and Swift. Got a decent amount of energy left.
Understood. I'll take it easy, whatever happens.
Just getting through all these guys. That's the problem with such a short amount of time to go. Come on, Holmes. Third. Not bad at all.
Watch out. You'll soon have
So Ciccone took the points. Hadn't took any points yet in the climbing standing. So I think we're still okay with Quintana. But good to see that Holmes did well there. Oh, nearly being pushed off the road. That was a bit rude. All of our guys, though, apart from Quintana, in the front group. So that's good to see. Hopefully recover a little bit of energy now. Yeah, we should be okay.
but I won't be very
And I'll see you guys as we get to the final climb. There's not long to go now, but... Oh, okay. Worrying that a lot of our guys are starting to struggle. We have got a descent coming up, so hopefully that will be a little bit of a reprieve for them. So, 10 kilometres to go in the Route Corse. No idea who's going to win it. There's no definitive leader at the moment, is there really? Recovered most of our energy. And remember, we have got some feed to use. That's important to note. I think Meduas is maybe the guy who's the favourite for the moment. But this last climb is going to decide a lot. But crucially, it's not the longest climb in the world. I mean, just look at Swift. Getting really well placed.
We're now at the foot of the final climb of the day. The Côte de l'Aigle
And it's obviously not as hard as the last one, so that's encouraging to see.
ideal terrain for the climbers.
Just lost a load of time. Amazing, that. But we got Swift and Holmes in the main group. Williams is there as well. Bierge, Dibben and Quintana not doing too badly. And we can shoot some of our feed in just a second. But 34 guys now in this peloton. And we've got 2 guys in it. Maybe not 2 of our stronger guys. I think Swift probably is. And Holmes did pretty well as well earlier. So, encouraging to see. But as you can see, Swift losing a little bit of time. So we might as well control Holmes and try and get Swift to catch up a little bit maybe.
No need to ask questions.
Well, I'm not worried about attacking.
He's moving on to the attack.
We're just going to finish well here. That's the main thing, in the top sort of 40. That's the main thing. Swift is dropping back, though. He's running out of energy. We'll tell him to consume his red gel. Same as everybody else. Oh, they've consumed blue gel. Oh, well.
Okay, I'll consume a feed.
Obviously, we were never going to go for the general classification here, really. We just want to finish well, ultimately. Those guys are starting to attack, so we're not going to be really tempted, to be honest. But Holmes is probably our best chance now. But a good first tour. I'm happy with that. Good first tour, this. Certainly been respectable. And Holmes is our one guy left in this first group for now. I think he's going to start dropping back, as you can see. But not too bad at all. It all depends who scores the points at the top of the climb to find out if we will win the green classification for the points and the polka dot jersey. That would be amazing in itself, wouldn't it, if we could do that? That would be absolutely tremendous. Breakaway's finished, is it? Let's have a look how everybody's doing. Nobody doing terribly. I mean, Quintana's a shame, isn't it? Couldn't quite do it with him, but, you know, he might have won the mountains classification, so it might all well be worth it. It's a little group up ahead, and we've got a little bit of pace left.
At 3 kilometres from the finish, there are still several potential stage winners.
Still many potential stage winners and Route Corse winners. It's really wide open, this. It really is. Be interested to see the final standings. So 19 in that main group. We're in 29th. I'll take that. Maybe try and get into the top 20. I think there's certainly a chance of getting into the top 18. All of our guys doing okay. Tell Ben Swift to consume his last bit of gel. Don't know why he hasn't, to be honest. Just persist without limit now. For all of our guys. And a good first tour. We've got a good set of riders, I think. We're doing a lot better than I would have ever expected. But that group now goes into 5. Looks like the yellow jersey holder might well hold his jersey. Isn't the moment to stare at each other. Dearie me. There is 20 points available here for the sprint. I thought so. So we'll have to see if we retain the lead of that ranking. Let's have a look who wins the stage, though. Come over the line. Who's it going to be? It's Maduas, so he will win the Route Corse. That is confirmed now. We had the yellow jersey before, and of course he's got it back now. So, good for him, I say. And we might as well go for it here with Holmes. And we're going to blow up over the line, but who cares? It's a good finish of 22nd and a good end to our first Pro Team Tour. We'll finish the stage. Everybody else is going to do okay. And we'll have to see how we got in the other classifications. Did we manage to win the green jersey? Did we manage to win the polka dot jersey? I don't think so. But you never know. We'll find out now. Obviously only 5 points available for that mountains classification in that last climb. So unless anybody's just been Mr. Consistent and been up there, I think Quintana might have a chance. So, here's the stage winner. And the winner of Route Corse over the 3 stages. Deserved winner, Maduas. I think he won the first stage as well. It's a name that rings a bell. Might be perhaps because he's got the yellow jersey, I don't know. But he wins the stage. And he'll be coming up on the podium again in a second to take the yellow jersey. Here he is. Going to get the yellow and the white jersey. The best rider in the general classification, or also the best rider in the young rider classification. But, get in! Brilliant! Absolutely fantastic. On our first tour, we win the green jersey. With one of our younger prospects, Michael Bierge. Really happy with that. Great stuff. Well deserved. A little bit easy to do, obviously, in a shorter run. But don't let the achievement be diminished by that. And we also win the polka dot jersey as well. With Dario Quintana. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. 2 jerseys from our first tour. As I've just said, it's a short tour, only 3 stages, but don't let that take away from the achievement. And as we know, the young rider who wins that classification is Maduas.
We had no real ambitions for the classification of this stage. The least that can be said is you didn't prove me wrong. We finish with the green jersey and the polka dot jersey. It's really pleasing, guys. This is a very good performance.
There you go. You heard it from the sports director. Absolutely chuffed. And to get 6 riders in the top 54 is a great achievement. Really is. Really, really is. Good stuff. Let's have a look at the final classification then. So in the general classification, Maduas wins by 21 seconds. So it was quite spaced out in the end, actually. Skashman, 21 seconds back. No huge names I recognise in there. Teo Gegenhardt in 14th. Our first rider, Quintana, drops back 21 space. No surprise, really, to 36th. Ben Swift, though, and Marcus Holmes both in the top 50. That's encouraging. Dibben also 55th place. Williams rises 44 places to 69th. And Bierge just manages to get inside the top 100 by 1 second. So best climber then, Slagter couldn't perform today. Really couldn't. We took the points we needed. It was close though. Maduas took 12 points, a few more points that wouldn't have gone our way, but great stuff. 2 riders in the top 10, 3 in the top 11. Points classification, we won by 7 points. Brilliant stuff with Bierge. Also some good points with Quintana, Swift and Dibben. Young rider classification, Williams moves into the top 10. Bierge into the top 12. Excellent. And team classification, absolutely fantastic news this. We rise from 21st place to 15th in the team classification. And competitivity, well, Bierge wins that. Excellent. So, individual pro cycling ranking. Bierge, because of that green jersey, moves into second. The yellow jersey and white jersey winner, Maduas, is top of the standings, but Bierge very much deserves that second place, and Quintana is in 7th place. So, team-wise, we're in second. Of course, not all the teams have scored points, and take that with a bit of a pinch of salt, really, because the likes of Ineos, Astana, the big teams, weren't massively interested in this Route Corse, but still, it is still a good achievement. So we haven't qualified for Paris-Nice, unfortunately, because we haven't managed to finish the season yet. Whatever we do this season, we'll only qualify for the tournaments that we've already qualified for, if you like. But as you can see, in this tournament, we get the points classification, the best climber. It's Daya, sorry, not Dario. It might, it might be a bit of a lie. I think it might be Daya then. Possibly. Let me know down in the comments. And Mikael Bierge also wins the compatibility classification. So next up, we can't do anything about these 3, and that's why we're going to drop back, really, unfortunately, in the standings. But next we've got the Breege Cup, or the Breege Cup. You're going to have to let me know how to pronounce that one as well. And then later in the season, we've got the Open Tour. So just 3 championships for this season, but if we can perform well in those, then we might qualify for some of the bigger ones next season. But we've got the Breege Cup coming up, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that. So, if you've enjoyed this episode and this first tour, make sure to leave a like down below, comment your thoughts as well, and subscribe for regular Tour de France content on a Tuesday, Thursday, and on a Saturday. And until the next time, I will see you guys later. Goodbye for now.